Today I'm sharing about the upcoming Libra New Moon on September 25th. We will talk all about how to best work with the energies of this new moon to manifest the highest and best outcomes in our lives. But first, if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Adrianne DeCotes. I'm a manifesting coach and intuitive guide. And on my channel, we talk about all things manifestation, intuition, and living in the flow. So if that is something that you are interested in, I invite you to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you'll be the first to know when I publish new videos on these topics. I've been working with astrology cycles in my manifestation practice for years, and as you're probably already aware, the new moon is a really wonderful time to clarify and refine and decide upon and really set new intentions for what you want to manifest in your life. The moon is a great planet to look at for manifestation because it is the closest celestial body to us here on Earth, and it's also the planet that we look at in astrology. I know it's not a planet, it's actually called a luminary, but regardless, it is the celestial body that we look at in astrology that also moves the fastest. It makes its way through the entire zodiac in about a month's time, and during that cycle, it's interacting with all the other planets in the sky, all the planets in our birth chart, all those positions, and so it's acting as like a translator or an interpreter of all of these energies and kind of helping to ground it into our personal experience. So symbolically, the new moon relates to setting intentions because it's the time when the moon is at the very beginning of its cycle of increasing in brightness. So the moon is completely in shadow at the new moon, and so that's why it's this time of new beginnings. It's this time of planting seeds, of planting intentions that will then come to their peak or to their full brightness at the full moon. So in the case of this new moon that we're looking at today, the Libra new moon, the intentions that we're setting around this time, we're going to want to be thinking about what we want to culminate or gain insight into or have some kind of a peak around the upcoming full moon in Aries, which will be in about 2 weeks. And the other time frame that you can look at is what kind of intentions do you want to set for the entire lunar cycle, which is about a month, so until the next new moon. And then finally, there's a longer term cycle as well that can be very relevant for setting new moon intentions, and this is about a 6-month cycle. And so that's when in this case, when we have the full moon in Libra, which will be in April 2023. And so that's another window of time you can look at for setting your intentions, is what do you want to be manifesting all the way in April as well. Let's talk a little bit about the energy of Libra. So Libra is an air sign, and it's a very social sign, but most specifically within the realm of partnerships. And so this could be personal or business, but anyone that you're really in a kind of committed partnership with, or where you really value that person's opinion, or you're trying to work together towards a common goal, that's really in the realm of a Libra. So like, for example, around this time, I am setting intentions for my coaching business, because that's me working one-on-one with clients towards what they want to manifest in their life. And so those are all some areas that Libra really can influence. And the other areas, so Libra is ruled by the planet Venus, which is the planet of love and harmony and balance. And so also during Libra season, it's a great time to add any of those qualities into what you're doing. So whatever projects you're working on or whatever things that you're wanting to manifest, you can look at how can these be done in the most harmonious, the most balanced, the most, Venus also rules pleasure, so like the most enjoyable way. How can they be aesthetically beautiful and more enjoyable in that regard? Those are all some Libra qualities or influences that could definitely come into play with what you're intending and what you're manifesting and focused upon during this time. And this new moon is also happening at 2 degrees as well. And the number 2 in numerology, as you could probably guess, is about partnership. It represents two things that need to counterbalance against each other. So whether it be a partner or you trying to integrate a project with its requirements, or like adding more sensitivity or partnership or balance into endeavors, that's just highlighted even more fully by this new moon happening at the 2nd degree of Libra. Let's talk a little bit about the aspects by other planets being made to this new moon. So perhaps one of the most significant is this opposition happening with the planet Jupiter, which is across from Libra in the sign of Aries. And so Jupiter has been in the sign of Aries since May of this year, and it's been expanding and adding luck and benevolence to this part of our chart and this Aries sort of energy, which, because it's opposite of Libra, it's an opposite sort of energy, whereas Libra really wants to look at the balance in relationships, and Libra really doesn't know what it wants until it knows what the other person wants. So there's a lot of like this harmonizing component. Aries is more about just you focused on purely what you want and what your impulses are, and really following those so that you can learn more clearly about who you are. So it's that sort of a dynamic, and that's the opposition between those two energies. And so with Jupiter across from this new moon, it's really having this opposite pull on needing to counterbalance both these Libra qualities being activated during Libra season of this balance and wanting to harmonize with others, with this strong sense of wanting to expand what you personally want to do, or the desire in this Aries energy to perhaps be more impulsive, more experimental, to just kind of go for it with your ideas, versus this Libra new moon energy, which is more about kind of having a more balanced and more deliberate and refined approach. And so it's important to be able to counterbalance these energies at this time, and maybe use some of those Libra qualities of balance to apply it in this way, where you're letting yourself really be clear on what you want, but you're also checking in with what others want. There's going to come a time in a couple weeks when we have the Aries full moon, when you'll have done enough of this Libra kind of deliberation and refinement and checking in to where you'll be able to really kind of launch something out there, or really experiment in a bolder way and tap into more of that energy of the Aries, where it's kind of fiery and kind of just go for it. But for right now, as you're setting your intentions and contemplating what you want to manifest, you're more in the mode of keeping the Aries like personal desires in mind, but mostly focused on how can I create what I'm creating in the most refined and balanced and harmonious way possible. And the other thing to keep in mind with this opposition to Jupiter is that Jupiter is retrograde. And so the things that you're working to expand in this Aries part of your chart that have to do with your personal identity, with your personal desires about who you personally want to become, or like what you feel the strong impulse and fire within you to explore or create. Because of the retrograde energy, it's less about starting things that are totally fresh or that you've never done before, and more about the projects that you started a little earlier in the year, like since Jupiter, when it was in the very beginning of its journey through this sign before it went retrograde, so like kind of in the spring or first part of the summer or so, and you're kind of looking back on those projects and seeking to make them more stable, more harmonious, more balanced. And that's where this connection to the new moon could come in, I think, is that now that you have expanded in maybe more of a bold or an impulsive way in certain areas, now you're able to use this Libra energy to take a second look at those projects and refine them and clarify intentions for how they can be made more balanced, more harmonious, how they can integrate better within your life. It kind of makes me think personally about even just more of the time and the effort that I've spent on this YouTube channel, because this has been kind of like a big new project for me of uploading weekly videos and everything, and it's something that I've just kind of been going for, but I think I could spend more time kind of creating more systems that would help me do it in the most effective way and make sure that I'm still balancing with other areas of my life and my business. And yeah, that's just like one personal example of how I feel like this energy could play out. But again, like that's not a brand new project. That's something that I started thinking about, like it was around the time of the Cancer new moon actually, which is my career house in my chart. So that was like in late June. But anyway, that is that dynamic that's in play with this new moon. Now let's talk a little bit about the ruler of this new moon, which is, as I mentioned earlier, Venus. And so Venus right now is in the latter part of the sign of Virgo, and she's right next to Mercury retrograde. So this is pretty interesting for a few reasons. First of all, having this Venus in Virgo, which is a very detail-oriented sign, a very analytical sign, and right next to this Mercury retrograde as well, which is a very reflective energy, and Mercury being the ruler of Virgo, also really embodying this analytical, perceptive, almost perfectionistic at times Virgo kind of way of being. This really adds a lot of ability to think really deeply about our intentions, or be able to really analyze and decipher and kind of intuit the best next steps. And the other thing that really adds to that kind of energy is that they're both coming into a trine with Pluto in Capricorn. And so Pluto brings a real ability to get to the core of a situation, to go into the depths of it and really want to look into it and understand it more fully. And so with that level of perceptiveness and that attention to detail of the Virgo qualities and the reflective Mercury retrograde qualities, combined with this intensity and focus of Pluto and wanting to get to the depth, there's really the potential to really see things more clearly about what you're wanting to manifest or what you're wanting to set intentions around than you normally would. So it's definitely a new moon that could bring a lot of ability to, also Virgo can really help with getting practical and really kind of fundamental and like get to the essentials of what you're really wanting and make it practical and make it doable, because it's an earth sign and it's in a trine with Pluto that's also in an earth sign. So there's this real kind of grounded practical quality to this new moon, as well as the Libra kind of harmony, balance, beautification quality. And so that can really be another energy to tap into and to really be able to not only kind of make intentions that are perhaps very practical, very doable, very specific, but also then to be able to create a clear plan for how you're going to execute on the intention and how it's going to fit in with like the other things that you're wanting to do at this time. And so that can be a really powerful combination to assist you with what you're wanting to create at this time. The other thing I wanted to say about this connection to Mercury retrograde is that you want to also think about these intentions that you perhaps are crafting at this time, or the things that you're noticing manifesting in your life, and just kind of the decisions that you're making or the conclusions that you're coming to. Think of it as just a first draft and something that has the potential to be looked over again pretty soon. And I say that because when Mercury is retrograde, it's going to travel through that same part of the sky 3 times. And so once Mercury turns direct, it's going to revisit the same territory. And so mentally, you're going to be going back over what you're doing around this time. And likely more information is going to be coming into light as Mercury moves direct again. And so just keep that in mind, that perhaps if you're setting intentions or making your plans at this time, to see if you can add or incorporate flexibility into it, and the ability to change your mind or to adjust things later on would be something that you may find very helpful once Mercury turns direct and kind of revisits this area, which will happen in the next couple of weeks or so. Okay, let's sort of summarize what we've covered so far by looking at a few key takeaways from this Libra new moon. So first of all, as I mentioned at the beginning, when you're setting intentions at this new moon, you want to also consider not just what you want to be manifesting over the next couple of weeks or until the next new moon, about a month or so from now, but also look into the future a little bit further and see what you would like to be manifesting or culminating around the time of the Libra full moon in April. The second key takeaway is, as you're setting intentions, you want to be thinking about how you would like to improve or enhance this partnership area of your life. And also, how is what you're manifesting right now, how would you like for it to incorporate some of the Libra qualities of balance, harmony, beauty? How can you make what you are working on or creating or manifesting even more harmonious, like a better fit with the other areas of your life, or have it working more optimally within itself? How can you incorporate more balance into what you're doing, or more beauty or pleasure, some of the other kind of Libra Venus qualities? And then the third takeaway is because of some of the retrograde energies, like with Jupiter, and then also to a certain degree with the Mercury retrograde, how can your intentions, how can you focus upon improving kind of what's already in play? And so not necessarily seeking to branch out into whole new areas of experience or manifestation, but kind of looking at what is already in motion and how can you refine it and make it better and really get to the core of what needs to happen, what needs to shift, tapping into some of those Pluto superpowers so that you can really create exactly what you want. And then finally, the fourth takeaway is to remember to be flexible with what you are deciding around right now or committing to, if at all possible. Add in a bit of flexibility because, as we just spoke about a little while ago, Mercury is going to be going direct pretty soon, and so there's a possibility that what you're thinking about things right now, there could still be more information that is going to be coming to the surface over the next couple of weeks or so that can add to what you know right now in whatever you're focused upon, and it's likely that there may be shifts or changes or adjustments necessary. So build in that extra bit of flexibility if at all possible. I would love to know what you are looking forward to when it comes to this Libra new moon. I'm looking forward to it. It's actually happening on my ascendant, right on my rising sign degree in my birth chart at 3 Libra, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how that may impact me. But yeah, I'm curious what your feelings are about this new moon, so definitely share about that in the comments down below if you would like to. If you would like more manifesting tips and tricks from me, then definitely check out my free guide to the 7 habits of highly magical people. I will leave a link to get that in the description box below this video so you can check that out if you are interested. And if you are looking for extra support around manifesting exactly what you want in life, then I'm having a special offer right now on my psychic reading sessions, which actually also involve a bit of bonus coaching. So let me explain quickly about that. First of all, I will help you to define exactly what you want to manifest. We'll work together to create a perfect fit intention, and then we will use your intention as the basis for a psychic reading session where I will help you to see into any blind spots, identify what you're already doing that's working to help you manifest your intention so you can do it even more, and just help you shift and move through the obstacles that may be standing in the way of manifesting what you want. And then after that session, we will work together for 15 days afterwards to help you apply the information that came through in the reading and really ground it into your life so that you can see exciting new shifts and changes and manifestations. And so this special session, I will leave a link to it in the description box below this video, but the special offer is that if you would like to book this session by the Libra new moon on September 25th, if you book it before that date at midnight Eastern and use the code Libra New Moon in the checkout when you book your reading, you can save $100 on that special session. So just visit the link in the description box below if you're interested in learning more about this. And be sure to check out this next video all about new moon intention setting if you'd like to go deeper into that topic. And until next time, thank you so much for watching and happy manifesting.